And welcome in. This is the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider with Ric Wesley. Good evening, everybody. I'm Jeremy Bolker alongside play-by-play voice DJ Foster. An exciting evening ahead. In fact, this is the first Ric Wesley show that is at Jets Pizza here for the season. So we're excited to be out here and enjoy some of these pizza specials, some great things as we will all season long. And DJ, an exciting trip this past weekend. We're going to talk about some highlights there, and as well, Grand Valley comes into a homestand. It's all going to be ahead here in the program this evening.
Yeah, the team went out to St. Louis last week for the GVSU Challenge. We'll talk with Coach about that. A couple of common opponents that they played the last few years at this tournament. We'll have Trevin Alexander will be joining us in a couple segments, the senior forward. He's off to a good start, averaging a double-double already here in this season. And we'll kind of look at a season preview. We had an episode last week. We'll talk with head coach Ric Wesley a little bit more about the season and what's coming up. We have 3 home games in the next week, so it'll be a lot of fun here tonight.
Yeah, you're going to want to stay tuned throughout the whole hour, folks. We're going to be talking with Coach Wesley for a couple of segments, and we're going to be bringing in the big man, Trevin Alexander, and then break down the upcoming rest of the week with Coach here. It's all ahead. It starts right after this commercial break. This is a GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider with Ric Wesley, all presented by Rivertown Honda here on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
We were born here. We grew up here. Raised our kids here. Went to school here. We live here. We are the home team.
Welcome back in the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider with Ric Wesley. We're at Jets Pizza in Allendale. DJ Foster here with you, Jeremy Bolker, and, of course, head coach Ric Wesley. It's all presented by Rivertown Honda. Got to get it at Rivertown Honda. It's our first time here at Jets Pizza in Allendale. Jim Pettis, the fine manager here, we always appreciate coming out, and we'll be here for the next couple of months. And the weather is certainly nicer now than it will be in a few months, as we always go through this early November. But early on in November, basketball season starts. The Lakers had a pair of games last weekend in St. Louis, Missouri. And in the GVSU Challenge, always an interesting way to start off the year with a couple of in-region games. We bring in head coach Ric Wesley. And, Coach, first talk about the trip as a whole. It's at least you got to go to St. Louis. I mean, that's a cool atmosphere. You guys were at Quincy a couple years ago, and then we hosted this tournament last year back in Allendale.
Yeah, third year in a 4-year cycle. We kind of rotate this event around, and this year was in St. Louis, and for us that's a bit of a destination. So we went down Wednesday night, drove down after practice and got in there pretty late on Wednesday, but at least it gave us all day Thursday. We practiced in the morning, and then we were able to take our guys and went to the St. Louis Zoo, which is sort of a nice thing, and the guys saw some wild animals, and that was kind of cool. And then we went to the Arch, and the guys all rode up in the Arch. I don't know if you guys have ever done that. That's quite a.
I've been there, haven't been up. Did you go up in it?
Yeah, I've been there several times. I used to coach at Missouri State, and actually I never went up. I was kind of like, no, I'll step out of this one. My wife and kids went up on it, but this time around we kind of walked in there, and to be honest with you, my strategy was not really to tell the guys what we're doing. Just next thing you know, they were kind of in line, and they were lined up, and they were going. And
we know it's probably not cheap, though. Just like any tourist trap probably across the Midwest.
I don't remember Coach Wallace was in charge of that. It wasn't that bad. It was a good experience. You kind of crowd you in a little box elevator.
I was going to say, don't they
5 people?
No more than 5, but you guys got some big guys. Justin Greason probably can't fit too many people in there.
Like a little pod that you sit in, and it goes up. It's kind of a roller coaster feel. But then when you get up to the top, and they've got some small windows you can look out. You can look out over the Mississippi River and see all the way into Illinois, and then of course see downtown St. Louis. It's a pretty cool thing. So I'm glad we got a chance to do that. And we did all of that on Thursday and then settled into our hotel Thursday night and got ready to play 2 games.
Well, you mentioned 3 of 4 seasons now. Is for those of you unfamiliar, the GLVC, one team that's been sort of prominent in the news is the football team playing Truman State, and then the soccer team going to be playing Truman State this upcoming Friday. So just because a lot of times you don't get that many times the GLIAC gets to play the GLVC, but this is one of those times.
Yeah, it's been an interesting thing. It didn't go our way obviously this year, but last year we went 2-0. I think the year before we went 1-1. The games have always been competitive. It's kind of a weird thing because we end up when we're on the road staying in the hotel as Ferris, and so we see our rival early in the year and kind of see what they're looking like. So we get kind of a free scouting report on them as well as 2 very good opponents. And the coaches, both at Quincy and at UMSL, are guys that I've known, a long time. The UMSL coach, I've known him my 35 years, I guess.
Oh, wow.
My entire coaching career. And he coached at Missouri when I coached at Iowa State, and the head coach at Quincy, Marty Bell, coached at Drake when I coached at Iowa State. So I really know those guys well. They're 2 of my favorite guys, except when they beat me. Then I don't like them for a couple weeks. But but I always enjoy just seeing those guys.
Yeah.
And this year, particularly being in St. Louis, was pretty cool, and the weather was great, and the trip was pretty easy.
And what we're talking about is a couple of back-to-back games here, this tournament, this GLVC Challenge. And you said Ferris State was one of the GLIAC teams there. So when you say the scouting report, are you guys sitting and watching some of the games as maybe a team, some of the coaches? And are you guys forbidden from talking or cheering? Are you guys sitting on your hands? Or what's going on?
No,
in,
it's
that
America.
type
We can still talk and cheer or something like that. Maybe,
For now.
Maybe for now. No, we played the second game the first night. We played Quincy, so the first game was Ferris versus UMSL. So you're free to scout that game. So we're really scouting UMSL, but again, you get a chance to watch Ferris and see what they look like. And then we actually played the next night. We played the second game too. So the same thing. We had a chance to at least watch a little bit of their game before we had to take on the home team UMSL. So it's kind of a cool thing in that we've done this 3 years now, and we're really starting to develop a familiarity with UMSL and Quincy, and like I say, it's all been good. Didn't go our way this year. Last year it did here at home. Next year we'll be up in Big Rapids. Hopefully we'll bounce back and fare a little bit better.
This is the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider with Ric Wesley. This segment brought to you by Cardinal Buses. Go in comfort, go in style, and go green. Go with Cardinal Buses. Yeah, Coach, we haven't mentioned the scores yet. You took on Quincy in the season opener, a good Quincy team coming back from last year, fell 79-71 in a close defeat. And then you took on Missouri St. Louis, the home school, and always tough playing on someone else's floor, especially one of these tournament deals, and you fell 56-51. We'll break them down a little bit more individually, too, in the next segment. But overall thoughts on the opening weekend? Obviously 0-2, not what you're looking for.
Yeah, well, a little bit, going back even to last Monday, I guess it was. We played at Oakland. I mean, we've had a lot happen in a short period of time, and a little bit just like our game with Oakland, our exhibition game. I told our guys today it wasn't all bad. I mean, we had some good moments each contest. We've had some periods of time where I thought we looked pretty good. We just have not been able to sustain it or keep our level of play high enough to get over the hump, and yet I'd also say 3 very tough opponents.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like we're easing into the season. We're probably, Oakland might very well be the best team we play all year to start off, and then like I say, Quincy's team picked to win their division in the GLVC, and UMSL was a team that just before we played them took Southern Illinois University to the wire in their exhibition game.
Right.
Coached by my former boss, Barry Hinson. So, hard to know what to say. Like I say, did we compete? I thought we competed pretty good. Did we have some good moments? Yes. Was it good enough? No. So kind of a mixed bag of emotions coming out of last week. But certainly I don't think anybody can say we haven't been tested.
Mm-hmm.
I know we'll get into those 2 games, DJ, in the next segment, but maybe we could touch a little bit on that exhibition game. I mean, the first half of that game, it was really, really well played. I mean, you guys really got.
Yeah, I was really
the
Oakland game. I was really quite pleased with that. The first half, we more than held our own. They got a lot of weapons, a lot of scorers, and our our defense was pretty good, but our offense was pretty good. We were able to hang in there and kind of match them point total wise, and I didn't sense that our guys were, emotionally or mentally overwhelmed by the situation. Thought they were really, game for the opportunity, and guys came in there and did good things. Foul trouble eventually hurt us, and it has hurt us a little bit this weekend too, especially with our big guys. Justin Greason kind of getting in foul trouble, as young big guys often do. But no, overall we were, I think, down by 2 with 10 or 11 minutes to go in the Oakland game, and then toward the end they kind of stretched it out and us made some shots, and we weren't able to finish it off real well. But no, that was a great opportunity. Appreciate Coach Campy letting us come over there. They got a good program, and it was a good test for us.
Yeah, and like when we talked about in the post-game show that night, the final score was not indicative of how close it was in the beginning. I mean, you were up with just a few seconds left in the first half, and then they scored on the last second shot. But Trevin Alexander was off to a good start. He had a double-double in that game, 13 points, 11 rebounds. Luke Reiskamp with 13 points. Drake Barr played very well off the bench, 10 points and 5 rebounds. So there are some encouraging things. And I think when you go to those exhibitions, correct me if I'm wrong, you want to win it, but if you can get some good things out of it, I think that's what those are made for. And I play good competition like that, and I think you, at least from my aspect of sitting there on press row and not being a basketball coach, I think you got some good things out of it.
Well, yeah, you always want to win anytime you can, but it seems like the games we get, the exhibition games we get, are really good teams, whether they're Big Ten teams or a high-level mid-major team like Oakland. So you go into it realistically. They've got better players, better athletes, and now the rules are such that they have way more time to practice. It used to be if you were a veteran team, you might be able to sneak up on those guys, but now they bring all their freshmen in the summer. They practice all summer, and so it's hard to catch a team at that level that isn't already pretty cohesive. And now this year in particular, we don't have a veteran team. We're fighting that ourselves. So you have to be realistic going into those games and just get out of it what you can. And like I say, I was looking for, are we going to be competitive? Are we going to fight? Can we execute our stuff? And for the most part, we did a pretty good job of that.
All right, a couple of coaches in the house who are here too. Coach Williams in the house. Hey, awesome to see you too. Hey, when we come back, we're going to break down those 2 games from this past weekend. And then, Coach, after this exhibition game, you guys had a couple of decisions you had to make, and talk maybe about going into that process as well, coming into the season and formulating the roster and that too. That's all I had. This is the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider with Ric Wesley, all presented by Rivertown Honda. Got to get it at Rivertown Honda. Back with more here on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
We were born here. We grew up here. Raised our kids here. Went to school here. We live here. We are the home team.
And back here again at Jets Pizza in Allendale, just about a mile west of the Grand Valley State Campus. Hey, Jim Pettis, the fine owner, thank you again for having us out here all season long. This is always exciting to be out here and see the people, and you can
eat the pizza.
Yeah, and eat the pizza. That's a big selling point right there. You talk about temptation. There is 3 pizzas that we ordered, before the show started, and Rick and
with
DJ
our names
and I,
all over it.
We got our names all over these things, do we? But Coach, it's always fun to have some pizza and talk some hoops.
Hard not to like pizza. I mean, who doesn't like pizza, especially here at Jets? I love their crust.
Oh yeah, it's great stuff. Well, Coach, we'll get into these games this weekend. Want to let everybody know Grand Valley's got a homestand coming up here, and DJ, if you could maybe fill us in a little bit about what the schedule and where people can get tickets.
Yeah. Next 7 days, 3 home games. We start on Wednesday night against Great Lakes Christian. That'll be a 7 p.m. start this Wednesday night. So the 2016-2017 home opener for the men. And then you'll have a doubleheader with the women, although it's not technically a doubleheader, not the same team. The women will play Rochester on Friday night at 6 p.m. You'll take on Trinity Christian at 8 p.m. That's Friday night. So 2 games, not necessarily a back-to-back doubleheader. And then next Monday, you'll take on Grace Bible at 7 p.m. So we will be tape delayed.
So you got to watch your profanities here, Coach.
Well, as I told you, we'll be playing 3 straight, Christian-based, institutions. I said, hopefully. If we're fortunate enough to win, hopefully this doesn't affect my ability to get through those pearly gates at some point. The good news maybe is, you're able to sneak by with a win. The bad news,
you don't sneak by. You don't sneak by up there.
You don't have eternal life. I don't know quite how that's going to work, but
Saint
hopefully
Peter
the good Lord's not.
Saint Peter's a pretty good box out, man. He does.
So, like you said, GVSUtickets.com. You can get tickets there. Call 616-331-3200. Let's touch base on the Quincy game from last week, the season opener, as we just mentioned, your home opener coming up. But you took on Quincy last Friday night, 79-71 was the final. You came back in the second half after trailing at halftime and really cut the score. You had a 10-point lead early in the ball game, and then Quincy went on a run to close out the first half. What did you see in that game? Again, final score 79-71 against a good Quincy team that returned a lot of their starters and experienced players from last year.
Well, I haven't really had a chance to watch the film. I watched a little bit of it after a game on Friday, but getting ready for the next one was really my focus. And then yesterday spent all day watching the second game more.
Mm-hmm.
But I was worried about this game because Quincy, we had a good game with them here last year, beat them. They had pretty much everybody back. And they're just a big, strong, physical type team, and they really run their stuff well. And so I was pleasantly surprised that we got off to a good start and a good vibe, and thought played pretty good. And then got in some foul trouble in the first half. It seemed like, man, everybody had 2 fouls. And right before the end of the first half, I felt like maybe as we got into our bench, our execution wasn't very good, and I thought they kind of, picked up the defensive pressure a little bit. So we found ourselves in some bad places on the floor. We didn't handle the ball real well. We had some turnovers that led to some breakout baskets, and when you have that happen, you're not able to get your defense set, and then next thing you know, they go on a bit of a run. So that kind of happened to us right before the end of the half. And again, with a lot of new guys. Even when we have them in the places that they're used to, we're not a finely oiled machine. And then when you start putting guys in a little bit different positions, your ability to execute your stuff and the variety of things you can do is really limited. So I think all that kind of happened at once, and the next thing you know, we found ourselves behind. Kind of tried to regroup, came out in the second half. Didn't immediately get back in the game, but eventually we settled in there, found a lineup that seemed to be working. And our defense got stronger, and we really started shutting them down. If not for free throws, we might very well have worked our way back into a win there. But I don't know. I don't think they scored for like the last 7 minutes of the game or a field goal.
Yeah.
Our defense. No, we didn't stop them every time. We did foul some during that time, but we did a better job defensively. And just when it was all said and done, I just thought their veteran big guys hurt us. You just tell they're seniors and they know what they're doing.
Yeah,
and
good players.
They've got 3 or 4 of those guys, and and right now we're just still trying to find our way.
As a coach, when you find yourself in one of these runs where you had the lead and now all of a sudden you can feel it, slipping away, and then they start to take it, what goes through your mind? Is it usually the first thing would be a timeout, switching, players out? But how do you stop a momentum What are a couple of big things that you like to try to do to stop it?
Usually I think I should have studied harder in school and got a marketing degree and gone into another profession or something. I don't know. I mean, you can think a lot of things like, oh, my God, I wish I had 20 timeouts, They don't give you that many. So there's a lot of things. I mean, you're trying to look at it. You're trying to stay calm. You're trying to stay in the moment. Coach Wallace and Coach Johnson are right there with me. You're having an ongoing discussion, and one guy's looking at the offense, one guy's looking at the defense. What's working? Is it our man-to-man? Is it our zone? Are we scoring? So you're just trying to do a quick computer analysis of everything that's happening in the game, so that your eyes aren't deceiving you. Sometimes you're playing. You're not scoring, or the other team's getting away from you, but they're just making crazy shots. It's not like you're really playing that bad. You're doing good things. So there's a lot of things, and then you always have the personnel decisions as well. Do we have the right guys in the game? Do we need to make subs? It's 40 minutes of stress. I say in those tight games, like on our game on Saturday. I mean, it was neither team could get away, so it just felt like, my God, you're in a adrenaline rush for the entire time, and you're literally even as a coach, you're exhausted when it's over, because it's draining.
Yeah.
So that's not really a great answer to your question, but that's kind of what we're living through. You're trying to do the best job you can as a coach to put your guys in the best position, whether it's offense, defense, personnel, rest, so on and so forth.
We'll talk a little bit more about that Missouri-St. Louis game after the break, but we're going to bring in Trevin Alexander, your senior forward, averaging a double-double the first two games, 11.5 points, 11 rebounds per game. Tell us a little about Trevin before we bring him on the show.
Well, Trevin's finishing off, a great career. It's hard to imagine he's just a senior, as always is the case when they get to this stage. It seemed like just yesterday he, arrived on campus. He's come a long ways. He's worked hard on his game. He's worked hard on his conditioning and his body, and I think it's really paid off for him. He's certainly kind of our team leader this year. He does a lot of things for us. The most important thing is he leads. He's kind of the emotional guy. He's not afraid to say what needs to be said when it needs to be said. And, on the floor, he's really a versatile guy. He's our best rebounder, one of our best defenders, but certainly in the low post. And he's really worked his way into being one of our best three-point shooters. We kind of got to get him going here a little bit. But no, just outstanding, one of our team favorites, and great kid, doing well in school. Got great things in store for him in life. Hopefully we got great things in store for him this year on the basketball court. That's our goal.
We look forward to it. We'll bring Trevin Alexander in with us next year on the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider with Ric Wesley. Come on back for more. We're live at Jets Pizza in Allendale, just 1 mile south of Grand Valley State campus. Come on back for more here on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
All right.
We were born here. We grew up here. Raised our kids here. Went to school here. We live here. We are the home team.
And back here on the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider with Ric Wesley and DJ Foster, joined by Jeremy Bolker. Wanted to remind you it's postseason time for the fall sports teams at Grand Valley State. The football team just completed a perfect 11-0 regular season and won the GLIAC championship. The Lakers earned the #1 seed in Super Region 4 and a bye week in the opening round of the playoffs next Saturday. So the 26th, 2 days after Thanksgiving, GVSU will host either Texas A&M Commerce or Colorado Mesa at 1 p.m. in Lubber Stadiums. Get your tickets by going to gvsutickets.com or calling 616-331-3200. And we are at Jets Pizza in Allendale, 1 mile west of Grand Valley State Campus. Hopefully you didn't go south. You wouldn't end up here. But we're here for the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider, as we will be all season long. And now we're bringing in Trevin Alexander. This interview brought to you by Earhart Construction, the official construction company of the Grand Valley Sports Network. Trevin, how we doing?
Good. Glad to be here.
Glad.
Last year, man, like I was my first year doing this again.
Do you remember, Coach said you feel like a freshman. What do you remember about your freshman year now that you're the old guy on the team, you and Luke?
One thing I remember my first game, my Michigan State game. I always tell the fellas about that one. I took an ill-advised shot, and Coach Wesley was a timeout, and he met me at half court, and I was like, yep. So I always remind the freshmen, like, when it's not your time to shoot that ball, he will meet you.
So that's one of your earliest basketball memories is shooting. Now I remember you tried a tip dunk in that Michigan State game. I can't remember.
I didn't try. I made it.
You got it. That's right. Okay, I couldn't remember if you actually got it down or not. I remember that was the first time I think I said your name on the radio, and it was like, wow, this kid can really get up, and that was quite a highlight.
It was
remember
pretty
that
fun.
well.
It was pretty fun out there playing against Adrian Payne and those guys. It was skyscrapers over here. I'm like, it's gonna be a challenge, but.
Because you're probably not the shorter guy on the court most times. I mean, you're a good 6'6", right?
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
Trevin, did you ever envision when you came here to Grand Valley that you'd be in this now leadership role here going into your senior season? Could you have envisioned that when you started looking at the school?
Yes.
Did you?
Yeah, because I knew my time was gonna come soon. Because I did it in high school, in baseball and stuff. So it's like natural to me. Just to take the leadership role, step up for a team, take the blame sometimes, like when things go bad. So
sure,
it's natural for me.
I remember when we've had you on in the past, you've talked about your baseball career as well. You played baseball in high school. Talk about your playing days, and were you first baseman, pitcher, and first baseman? I think.
Growing up, I played all the positions, but when in high school, I just stick to pitching and first base.
Okay.
So it was just. Or I DH sometimes. I used to love DH and just got there, swing, sit back down.
Go sit back down for a couple innings.
Sit back down, yep.
Any thought of trying to play here at Grand Valley?
No, nope.
Yeah.
I want to, as soon as I get done, when I should start into my career, I want to be a juvenile probation officer, so I just want to start getting to that. So I met a lot of people actually that's putting me in the right track to it, to getting that my master's in social work. That's why I want to get it in. So there's a lot of people that put me in directions to get that done.
That's great. That's very good. So that's what your undergrad is in what?
Criminal justice.
Criminal justice.
With a minor in business and juvenile justice.
Awesome. Yeah, Coach said you're doing a great job with the academic part of things. How do you balance that?
Sometimes it's some long nights. Long nights. Like tonight's gonna be a long night. I have a few papers, finance tests coming up, but it's just the grind. It's like it never stops. So it gives you discipline. So once you get out in the field, when you have the long nights, you don't complain about it, just get it done. That's how I see it as.
Do you envision you sticking around like the West Michigan area? Dream job, dream area. What do you think?
I like this area actually. I'm sticking around here actually. Get my master's here at Grand Valley. I just like this area. I like West Michigan, Southwest Michigan. Go out to the beach. My dream area, my dream job. I just want to be a juvenile probation officer. It's like. I love working with kids. I'm like really not for the money. I'm just like, I like helping people.
Good for you.
That's my thing. And coaching. I'm going to get into coaching too.
Oh, and coaching as well. Yeah, okay. Very good. Now, you came in with Luke Reiskamp, and you guys are going through your senior years together. What has that 4-year relationship been like with you guys? What's that been all about?
That's my guy. That's my buddy. It's like we best friends. Like, if I were to get married today, he'd be like one of my best men, I consider. Like
really?
Him and Harold, yeah. Harold
Wiggins.
The team,
yep.
And now he's like a student assistant. So we all, it's like, and Ty Simon, he quit a while ago, but we all stay in contact with each other. So basketball actually gave me another brotherhood with them guys. So like if I were to get married, I'd and they'd be in my wedding. That's how close I am.
That's
with them.
very cool.
We talk about everything.
Yeah.
And that'd be a tall wedding, wouldn't it?
It would be, yes.
To rent those tuxedos or whatever, you know.
A goofy wedding.
I could see Luke like tripping or something, or Harold tripping down the aisle, just walking.
Would you make Luke your best man just so we could hear him speak at the wedding? Because he's got to give a speech.
He would not do it.
He would not. He would just maybe write something down and have somebody
You'd
read
write it for him, maybe?
No, he actually he probably would though. He broke out his shell a little bit. He shocked me a little bit this year.
How
With
so?
Our video promotion things for our introductions, he sung a little bit. I was like, his sister was at the thing at the photo shoot too, and she was like, "Is Luke really singing?" I'm like,
He's come a long
Luke
way.
3 years ago when them got in front of the camera and like smiled. Well, he comes a long way. That's my guy.
That's cool. That's very fun.
Yeah, and he hasn't tried to come back and destroy that tape or evidence from your audio-visual department or something like that. Well, that's good. Trevin Alexander joining us here on the program, and in just a moment here, we'll go and we'll ask you a couple of questions here on the full court press. But maybe this might start it off between you and Luke. If you guys were to shoot, let's say 10 3-point shots from beyond the arc at various different locations, who's going to make more of them?
It'd be tough because we both struggling a little bit right now. But I got myself. I got confidence in myself.
That's
That's
good.
one thing you don't lack.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to
Confidence in
say.
myself.
But now, how would Luke answer that?
He said him.
He would say him.
So.
Right, okay, makes sense.
And then if I don't lose, like we gonna keep playing until I lose or until I win. Then I'm gonna quit.
What would you say you're looking forward to most about this season?
Just developing the players. We got a lot of young guys, so some of them really don't understand some of the concepts we say and the terminology we use. I just look forward to like developing them, getting them better. So next year I can come back and like, oh yeah, I helped this guy. I remember him. I remember his flaws, and now he understands the different things when coach says spacing and one more and hand to hip stunts and things like that. Like it just comes second nature. That they don't need anybody to tell them that they messed up or confused. They can just like recognize it. It's off the spot. Like read the plays, read the defense better. Just give them some of my knowledge that I know.
When you look at these guys as freshmen or newcomers, do you see yourself when you were a freshman?
Yeah.
A little wide-eyed
Yeah.
maybe, and deer in headlights look.
Sometimes. I feel like I came in a little. I'm throwing any shade at them a little bit brighter.
Okay.
A little basketball.
Obviously, you had to dunk at
IQ.
Michigan State. That helps too. That gets you going early on.
Yeah. Some of them just like rotation-wise, is like you can feel like they're getting down. So I'm like, we talked about today, trusting the process, and like I try to tell them like, my first game in Michigan State, I played because when Ricky was here, he got injured with concussion. I was like, the next few games, I was up and down in the rotation, but when my number got called, I just like I went out there, did my job, a few rebounds, draw fouls, do what I got to do, and my number got called again. You just got to produce. Said, don't never put your head down, just produce.
Trevin Alexander joining us here, senior, for your Grand Valley State Lakers. And a reminder again, the game's coming up. We got a Wednesday and a Friday night game, and then again on next Monday night, a week from tonight. Let's put you in. Let's do a little bit of a segment we like to call the full court press. Right here, we ask you a couple of different questions. If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would that be?
I'll go to Dubai.
Dubai. Okay. Any reason there?
I just saw it on Fast and Furious. I was like, oh, that's how I actually. I hope it really looks.
Is
like
that where one of the cars goes
Yep,
between
through the plane.
one of
I
the
mean, the
really
buildings.
big buildings?
Yep.
Okay. Excellent.
So you want to try that? I'm assuming.
No.
No, not that.
Not
Okay.
that
You just
part.
want to go visit.
And Coach Wesley would be cool with that after the season, something like that. Favorite pizza topping to put on your Jets pizza?
Sausage and bacon.
Sausage and
Sausage.
bacon.
There you go. There you go.
Okay. Not a
Stuffed crust.
vegetarian then. All right.
No.
No. If you could play any position of any sport, and that could include curling, what would you? What would it be?
I'll say I'd be a field goal kicker.
Okay.
Wow.
You want
So-
that pressure, huh?
Yeah. He's just,
We got to see some big-time pressure of some games in the Big Ten, the top 5 this weekend for
Right.
college football. That was pretty wild.
Did
So you'd be okay with all that pressure, huh?
yeah.
Can you
All
kick?
right.
Can you kick a football at all?
No.
Okay, that's why you want to do it because you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
Game time, Trevin. You got to get some alliteration.
I like
That's
it.
awesome. All right, now this sounds weird. I don't want to get political. You can just ask yes or no. Was there much talk about the election last week, whether it be prior to the election or afterward in the locker room?
Not really, actually.
Okay.
Not really. I guess guys really didn't want to get into it
Right.
really much, but.
Yeah. Nope. That's
fair.
that's good. A place where we can get away from all that stuff is
Just
sports.
talk about basketball.
There you go.
Right. Right. What's the best part of practice?
One to win on. That's Coach's last words he said to us before we in practice. Just one jog down the court and we meet up in the circle.
What's the saying again?
One to win on.
One to win on. Okay. There you go.
Excellent. Well, Grace, I mean, if you could, favorite or maybe the song you've been listening to the most. Let's go even more specific. A song you're really sick of right now that either a lot of people on the team or a lot of people, they're playing on the radio a lot that you're just tired of.
I don't even know the names of them, but like our new guys or some of the freshmen like Lance and Chris and all them guys, they listen to these new rappers. I don't know their names really, but their songs like irritate me. I'm like, what are they even saying?
But you're a senior. Don't you control the music? Don't you and Luke have
I let
control?
them pick because they were like, what is this? I'm like, man, you don't know this is old. This is some classic stuff. So me and Steve Lloyd, we get to bond a lot with that because he listens to the type of music I like to listen to. So we can just gel. But like some of them, I'm like, it is too soft or like too slow. Like, I don't like that. So when we lift weights, I actually do like if I'm feeling something, like, no, next song.
Next one.
Next
Like
song.
Pandora. Click next. Yep.
Next
Right.
song.
Yeah. Well, great stuff. Well, Trevin, really continued success on the court here, and it's been a pleasure. And let's have a great season. All right, go Lakers.
That's the plan. Yep. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Trevor. We'll talk
That's
to you
awesome.
again
Trevin Alexander joining us here on the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider with Ric Wesley. We will be back with more. It's all presented by Rivertown Honda. Gotta get it at Rivertown Honda here at Jets Pizza in Allendale here on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
We were born here. We grew up here. Raised our kids here. Went to school here. We live here. We are the home team.
And thank you so much for joining us here. We are at Jets Pizza in Allendale, the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider with Ric Wesley. Got it all presented by Rivertown Honda. And Jim wanted me to let you guys know, a reminder that the dining room here, real nice area. They have some beers on tap, beer and wine. They also have daily lunch specials, 2 slices and a pop for $5. That's one of their most popular ones. And don't forget here, folks, till 8 o'clock, right? It's at 8 o'clock. We have the Ric Wesley special. That's a large one-topping pizza for $6. That's a really good deal right there. $6. So come on out on Monday nights and join us. It's almost like we're bribing you to come out to the show. I mean, that is how good of a deal that is. And a reminder, the dining room, it does include an outdoor patio. Jim has assured us he has some good Christmas sweaters for us that we can throw on if you want to go out there tonight. But anyway, come on out and see us. We'd love to see you here at Jets Pizza in Allendale. Well, I'm Jeremy Bolker alongside play-by-play voice DJ Foster. And sort of wrapping up, we want to wrapping up the Saturday game. We want to remind you again, we got 3 upcoming home games Wednesday, Friday, and again a week from tonight. Again, Wednesday, Friday, and a week from tonight. And Coach, just touching a little bit, what a game that you ended up falling just by 5 points here by final, but what a tough matchup here on the final game of that road trip here, that GLVC challenge.
Yeah, our second game, I told our team beforehand, my experience has been when you play in a tournament or a back-to-back. The second game is so different. The first game, usually you have quite a bit of time to prepare. You kind of know your opponent inside out. And then the second game, you have no time to prepare, and it really becomes a sort of who wants it more kind of a thing. And quite often it's not as well played a game. It's just kind of a tough slugfest. And that's what this game was. Neither team shot the ball very well. Both teams struggled to score. At the end of the day, I think their ability to get into the bonus earlier than us was probably the difference. They scored from the free throw line at a time when we weren't scoring anywhere. So it was a tough game. It went right down to the end. I mean, it could have gone either way. Just had a chance. I think we had twice had a chance to open threes to tie it in the last minute or so, and just didn't go our way. So that was disappointing because I thought we competed very hard. Had some guys step up and do some good things, and just couldn't get it done. If you come out of there 1-1, you kind of feel like, well, okay, two good teams. We come out with a split, good trip, and we're ready to go. But coming out of there 0-2 is not what we had hoped for, and certainly puts us behind the 8 ball a little bit.
Well, you said the score was tied 9 times. There was 15 lead changes. Neither team led by more than 7 points.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of rare to see at any point in the season, especially early on when teams are still figuring out rotations and things like that. You guys dominated in the paint, 26-11 in points in the paint. Justin Greason was a big part of that. He had a career night, 13.6 rebounds for him. Trevin Alexander, 9 points, 13 rebounds. So you did some good things, certainly down low and in the paint.
Well, and the other thing is defensively, their big guy, Hunter Ryan is his name. The night before, I think he had 17 and 17 against Ferris.
Wow.
And going into the game, I'm thinking, holy cow, this guy is a monster. Ferris has got some big guys, 17 rebounds and 17 points. So our big focus was on him. He made 1 basket. We did a great job of surrounding him in the low post. When he got the ball, we kind of swarmed him. And he really wasn't much of a factor in the game. So, like I say, we did some good things, and that was one of them. We followed the game plan. It kind of took away their best player, but we still didn't get it done. And our guys, we got to get some of our guys just stepping up and just playing a little bit better. I feel like our seniors, Trevin included, but Trevin and Luke in particular, just, they're both great kids. They're great competitors. They just want it in the worst way. But it's hard to play when you're in that kind of state of mind where you're just almost overly, your adrenaline is almost too high. Adrenaline can help your performance, but when it gets too high, you get over the top, and then your performance sort of comes down. And I felt like both of those guys at times were that way this weekend. And they just got to relax and trust that the work that they've put in is good enough and let their talent, kind of come out.
And before we take a break, finally hear too about that game. Juwan Starks, 4 for 9 from the field and played a little bit over half the game.
Yeah, Juwan's doing a good job, and I talked about that today a little bit in our team meeting. Here's a kid who came in last year with some high hopes, had a solid junior college career, and he battled some injuries last year, got a concussion halfway through, and it just didn't feel like the year ever got going for him, and I think the adjustment was greater than what he thought it was going to be. But to his credit, he's come back. I think the year of training has helped his body. I mean, he's a pretty thin guy. He's doesn't
need a lot of Jets pizzas.
He needs a few more of the deep
he could
dish.
eat a lot of Jets pizza to help him. But I do think he's stronger, and he seems to be a little more durable. He hasn't missed many practices and stuff. And he's one of those guys you just keep thinking he's going to break out anytime because he's got a beautiful shot, and he's starting. I think he's starting to really get comfortable in the system. He had 1 steal breakaway dunk that was a pretty impressive play, probably the play of the weekend, where kind of a ball comes loose to half court, and here he goes. He's raced to the basket with another guy, and the other guy challenges him. He just goes right up and rifles it down. And he surprises you with his athleticism at times. But yeah, no, I mean, he's kind of an early season positive. And we need that because right now we're not shooting the ball well, and that's certainly what he's capable of doing.
So when we come back, we'll talk more basketball. We'll look at around the GLIAC a little bit as we still can preview the upcoming season in conference play for the team. Again, Grand Valley State will be at home this Wednesday against Great Lakes Christian at 7 p.m. Then they'll take on Trinity Christian on Friday night at 8 p.m. Both of those inside the GVSU Fieldhouse Arena. Coming back for more, the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider with head coach Ric Wesley. It's all presented by Rivertown Honda right here on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
We were born here. We grew up here. Raised our kids here. Went to school here. We live here. We are the home team.
Welcome back here to Jets Pizza in Allendale. DJ Foster, Jeremy Bolker, and head coach Ric Wesley with you on the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider. This segment is brought to you by Fox Motors, only the best. I mentioned earlier it's postseason time. The national champion, the three-time defending national champion, GVSU soccer team will host the Midwest Region Championship this Friday at 5 p.m. The Lakers will host Truman State in Allendale as they battle for the regional title. With a victory, GVSU would host either Central Missouri or Fort Hays State on Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m. The winner of that game would advance to the NCAA Final Four. So again, coming out on Friday night at 5 p.m. to the GVSU soccer field to see the defending national champions face Truman State in the Midwest Region Championship. Get your tickets by going to gvsutickets.com or calling 616-331-3200. So on Friday night, Coach, you won't be able to watch that soccer game because you'll be taking on Trinity Christian. You have, as you mentioned, a couple of those Christian colleges the next 5 days. Great Lakes Christian on Wednesday night, Trinity Christian on Friday night. There's teams I'm not sure we've played recently or certainly during your time here. What do you know about them? I know Great Lakes Christian has had a little bit of a slump early on just judging by their schedule.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't know that much about them at this point. We're still trying to put last weekend to rest. We just came out of practice day. We'll really talk about them more tomorrow. I think for us right now, we're still early in the year. We're still really about ourselves. We added a couple wrinkles to our arsenal today, a couple different offensive sets that I think could help us as we get into these early season contests. I think we discover more about ourselves. We're almost scouting ourselves and trying to figure out, well, what are we good at? What can we do to maximize our talent? How can we better use guys? What do we anticipate being the rotation, so on and so forth. So that's kind of what we did today, a little bit of a refresher of what we've already done, and we've added a new defense today and a couple different offensive sets that I think are simpler, but in some ways might be more effective because it allows you to sub guys in more freely, and the emphasis gets back on playing hard versus being concerned about where to go. So sometimes, not almost always, simpler is better. And so we did that with a couple things today.
I imagine so much at this stage is just like building blocks too, because you showed some really good things defensively, over the weekend, and it's just about building on top of those too and extending.
And I talk about that. That's why I often say it's like a Jets menu. I always say, you're trying to build your menu, and then as time goes on, you decide, what are you ordering off that? What works? What tastes good? What So that's kind of how I look at it, and sometimes, especially we have quite a few new guys or guys that aren't always real comfortable in what we've done in the past. So as a coach, it's always a challenge. Do you stay with that and try to get it refined and get it to where you think it's perfect, or do you just keep adding your stuff? Because at some point you got to get your stuff in, and so today was kind of all right. We've had a couple games. Let's get some more stuff in, because ultimately you just need. It's not pickup basketball. You need a lot of stuff, a lot of things to call upon over the course of the season.
You had 4 seniors that played a lot for you last year. How do you think the first weekend has gone with trying to mix in some of the newer guys with your Trevin Alexanders, your Luke Rice-Camps, Zach West, guys who played a lot for you last year?
Yeah, not real good. We're 0-2, so not as well as I had hoped. I think we're, actually, probably the position I was worried most about maybe was at the point guard spot, and I think Miles and Alec, Marty seem to be doing okay. I always want more, and think they can both play better. They've got to be more efficient. They've got to make better decisions, so on and so forth. But they're doing okay. And I think it's really again, I think it's our veteran guys. We got to get those guys going. You need some building blocks. You need some things to work around. I don't know that the other guys are going to be capable of just carrying the load, and I think Trevin and Luke, they've shown over the course of their career, they have the mentality, they have the knowledge, they have the skill. I don't know necessarily carry the load, but certainly do a lot of the work.
Sure.
Justin Greason and Drake Barr are both kind of finding their way. Both of the guys that played last year. Neither one was in a primary role with Chaz and Ricky last year. Both of them. Drake has had some really good moments. I think it's obvious he's a much improved player. Justin's a talented young guy. He right now makes some good plays. Got to work toward continuing to be a good player. So you see it every now and then, but the consistency that comes with being in the trenches day after day, I think, is big. And then we mentioned Juwan and Zach West, Chris Dorsey. I mean, any number of guys have come in there and made some contributions. So we've got a long ways to go, and I think it's going to be a bumpy ride for a while until we can settle into a group that's more consistent and knowledgeable and comfortable out there on the floor.
Well, you're going to want to come out and see these guys, especially during this early part of the season. Show your support as this team builds up, builds those blocks, builds those toppings. Like we say, speaking of toppings, large 3-topping pizza, $12.99 here at Jets Pizza. But, again, Wednesday, Friday, and a week from Monday, all home games. We'll be back to wrap things up here on the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider with Ric Wesley right after this here on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
We were born here. We grew up here. Raised our kids here. Went to school here. We live here. We are the home team.
And back here for the final time in the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider, DJ Foster, Jeremy Bolker, and head coach Ric Wesley with you. Before we wrap things up, we'd like to thank one of our fine sponsors, Country Dairy, the official milk of GVSU Athletics. Country Dairy, come visit our family farm. Coach, 3 games in the next week. We will not be here next week as you'll be playing Grace Bible starting at 7 o'clock next Monday night. So 3 games in the next 5 days or so, in a 5-day span, I should say. Tell me what you want to see from your team in those 3 games, because then you go to a Thanksgiving tournament in Indiana, and then it starts up conference play.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have much time here, so we're just trying to get better. I think execute our stuff. We looked at the film today, and some of our issues are not necessarily making shots or making right passes, getting guys in the right place. We're in basketball, it's a true team sport. It's hard for me to function if I don't know where you're going to be. You get guys cutting and moving in the wrong places, it screws everything up. So, we continue to want to work on our execution. And then once we do that, I think opportunities then present themselves more. And then for us, we got to make shots. Got to make some shots and get good shots and then make them. And So I think just getting better is the big thing with us, and I like it that we have a lot of games here in a short period of time because nothing like getting out in their game and seeing how they are with the bright lights.
Sure.
on.
And finally, Coach, I know we're under a minute here, but you hope you're in a position against some of these teams too that you might get to see some of the younger players that you may not necessarily get to see in a big GLIAC matchup.
Well, that'd be right, and you never know. We might have guys on our team. You suspect sometimes, hey, that guy if he gets on there, he just might do something special. You got to earn it, but then also there's opportunities to come within in the game as well.
All right. Well, Coach, should be exciting. Should be an exciting week ahead, and let's go get them. All right, go Lakers.
All right, looking forward to it.
All right, that'll wrap things up, folks. A big thank you to our fans, Laker fans coming out. And a reminder, we will be here 2 weeks from tonight. That is Monday, 11:20 at Jets Pizza here in Allendale. For Trevin Alexander joining us, for play-by-play voice DJ Foster and head coach Ric Wesley, I'm Jeremy Bolker. Have a great night, everybody, and go Lakers.